morning, and thank you very much for joining me on Debbie's Grill, where we talk about issues that concern the state, void of politics, fear, or favor. So, the Secretary General of the Ghana Federation of Labour, Abraham Koomson, has alleged that August 6th helicopter crash at Adensi Nkrofom, which claimed the lives of 8 prominent Ghanaians, was not a mere accident, but part of a failed coup attempt targeting President Mahama. Koomson claimed that the incident was orchestrated as part of a wider plan to destabilize the Mahama administration. He argued that the professionalism and experience of the pilot made it difficult to accept that the crash occurred under normal circumstances. It was a coup that failed because, despite the training of the pilot, they could not bring it under control. Koomson urged President Mahama to adopt stringent security measures similar to those implemented by Ghana's first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, during periods when his leadership faced threats. He called that Dr. Nkrumah introduced the Preventive Detection of Act 1958 in response to alleged conspiracies against his government. He further cautioned the president and his advisers to be vigilant against what he described as evil machination by the opposition New Patriotic Party, accusing the party of being behind long-standing plots to destabilize the government. Maybe the president is not aware that the crash was a plot to remove him from office. The presence of certain individuals in critical positions in government is a risk to the president's life, and he must do the needful. So this is coming from the General Secretary of the Ghana Federation of Labour, Abraham Koomson. He's calling on President Mahama to be very careful, and that the helicopter crash that occurred on 6th August is a coup to actually take him out of office. This is a bit boggling with the mind. Something that actually drawn the state into a mournful one. I mean, that day the whole country was confused. So if this was actually planned by someone, as he is alleging, what was their motive behind that? And the issue is, what do you want to gain? And after this has happened and the people have died, what have you gained? If this is really true, I mean, President Mahama came into office not quite long. If I'm right, he will be in his 7 to 8 months. And we've seen what President Mahama and his appointees are doing. We've seen the measures they've put in place to change the narrative of what we used to know. We see how far they've come with the economy, how far they've come with stabilizing the city, trying their possible means to do everything they can to help the country. I mean, why will you sit down and plot a coup against the president for some reasons known to you alone? And you see, when this incident happened, I saw a case where people were like, no, this helicopter crash is not normal. There is something behind somewhere we do not know. You see, we cannot... Me sitting here right now, I don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. I have no idea. That is one thing God has hidden from every creature. You only know of what's happened yesterday, but you don't know what will happen ahead. None of us sit here to pray that we will die very soon. No, that is not our prayer. Our prayer is to live long and fulfill whatever we were brought on this earth to do. But looking at this whole incident, what happened? What are we supposed to know that we don't know? What led to the crash? Was the plane crash preventable? If yes, then why didn't we prevent it? If no, then what is actually the main problem or the main reason behind that? You see, I've seen cases where people want to politicize all this. And I'm not saying that what Mr. Koomson is saying is wrong. But in a way, someone may say that, is this not part of the misinformation and disinformation sort of? Because he's trying to chip in the New Patriotic Party. And he's saying that it is their plot. We all know that the NDC and the MPP, we know them. We know how they are not really so compatible. And I wouldn't say he's wrong. The president ought to be very, very careful. Because not everybody is happy with what he's doing. You might see a lot of people smiling at him, but everyone with their intention. So with that, the president needs to be very, very careful. Personally, the day this incident happened, I said within me that this is not normal. And I was totally convinced that it was not normal. This was something we could have prevented as a country. And I saw instances where the opposition party were like, during their time, they said there were problems with the helicopter. They made instances where the former president has to fly with a jet, pay 8 million, and they brought out an information to the state that they want to purchase one. And it was this same NDC people said, no, we are not going to purchase any helicopter. And so it's like they're taking their own medicinal pill. But you see, can we do away with politics a bit and face this issue as it is? If truly someone is plotting a coup for the president, then it means the person has his own reasons. But why will you sit down and plot a coup? We've experienced worse season. Why didn't you plan a coup then? I remember they plotted one. They were arrested because they failed. And trust me, no one can plot a coup against this current administration. We are not trying to be political. But if you are sitting at your home and then you are plotting your coup or whatever, be rest assured, just as they found out in the previous administration, some people were arrested, you will also be arrested. But with that, what are we supposed to do right? Now we've seen that the helicopter had an issue. We've got to know. The problem now is it that for long we don't know that the helicopter had an issue? Why didn't we figure this out early? And on board the plane was a whole defense minister, someone who was in charge of the affairs of the security. His safety needs to be ensured, but the deed has already been done. The next thing we should look forward to is how to prevent this. How we are going to stop this from reoccurring in the future. Most of the times, I wonder what our leaders go out there to learn. But I believe when you go out there to learn, it's for you to gain some sort of experience, gain knowledge, you come back and then you impact. As now, we should be having like 5 or 10. It's expensive, but if at least 4 or 5. So we can prevent all this. And we will not end up losing people in the near future. And back to what Mr. Koomson is saying. I believe maybe he should be interrogated. He will personally have his own evidence to that. This is allegedly involving another party into this whole issue. We know what's happened is not normal. And I personally believe that there might be people behind this. So if this is what he's saying, then I'll urge the government to interrogate him, should bring out the evidence that states that maybe the opposition are against his party and they don't want the well-being of his party. So we can bring an end to this whole issue. It will be sad in the next 5 years, we will still have to experience this. Thank you for making time with me on the screen.